Hey, I'm running out to drop off a stack of letters and packages. Need anything shipped while I'm gone?
Save the gas. Stamps.com lets you print postage and schedule pickups right from your desk. Sync your contacts into the address book, get detailed accounting insights, and get notified the moment your certified mail is delivered.
All from my desk?
All from your desk.
Join the 4 million businesses using Stamps.com right now with code PODCAST and get your free welcome gift. Stamps.com, code PODCAST. Taxes and fees apply.
Hi, Ryan Reynolds here for Mint Mobile. Are you looking for a beach read this summer? May I suggest your big wireless bill? It's got suspense, mystery, a slightly flat, emotional arc, and a shocking twist where you realize you've been overpaying the entire time. Fortunately, though, Mint's story is better. Every plan, $15 a month. Even unlimited. That's it. Happy ending. Zero tears. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3 months, $90 for 6 months, or $180 for 12-month plan required. $15 per month equivalent. Taxes and fees extra. Initial plan term only. Greater than 50 gigabytes may slow when network is busy. See terms.
Welcome to True Crime Garage. Wherever you are, whatever you are doing, thanks for listening. I'm your host, Nick, and with me, as always, is a man who has returned to his original packaging for a limited time. Here is the captain.
Yeah, don't open me up because I'll keep my value. It's good to be seen and good to see you. Thanks for listening. Thanks for telling a friend.
Today, I am very happy to pull a few of these from the fridge. We are drinking Mexican lager with lime from our good friends at Great Lakes Brewing Company. You know it's gotta be good when you see the big iguana and lime on the can. This is a golden Mexican lager brewed with lime peel and puree. It's seasonal and also available in the Great Lakes variety pack, so get it while the getting is good. ABV 5.4%, garage grade, 3.5 bottle caps out of 5. Now let's give some thanks and praise to our good friends for helping us put some beers in the old garage fridge. Give them a shout out there, Captain.
Yeah, a big cheers to a drummer from another mother, Gary Joyner from Yankeetown, Florida. Cheers, mate.
And here's a cheers to Alex from Lapine, Oregon. And last, but certainly not least, we have Zena living in Best. That's in the Netherlands. Everyone we just mentioned, they went to truecrimegarage.com, contributed to this week's beer fund. And for that, we thank you.
Yeah, BWERRUN, beer run. Go to truecrimegarage.com, sign up on the mailing list, and we'll thank you forever. Forever. And that's enough of the business.
All right, everybody, gather around, grab a chair, grab a beer. Let's talk some true crime.
People at this vigil for Katie Dunke and Jessyca Hohn are still shocked. This is the reality they're facing. Family and friends identifying them as the victims of a shooting outside their job, Stars Bar and Grill, early Sunday morning.
Nobody can ever say anything bad about either of them.
The pain for this woman, almost unbearable. Sharing a name with one of the victims is just one special connection Jessyca had to the two women.
This is the most senseless thing. Senseless. It's wrong. It's wrong. All of it.
Those who knew and loved Katie and Jessyca say they were the best of friends. As Federal Way Police continue its investigation, how the two women died is a painful reminder of their endearing friendship.
They lived together. They worked together. They died together.
But how they died isn't the way people want them to be remembered.
Katie was a social butterfly.
Allison Fine met Katie while out and about in Federal Way.
I have a big personality. She has a big personality. When she walked into a room, she lit it up. Everyone said hi to her. She hugged everyone.
Allison says Katie and Jessica's impact on their community is undeniable and hopes to see someone held responsible for their deaths.
She and Jessica deserve justice.
You heard it there from K5 or King 5 Seattle News, a mystery just outside of a bar, and it sounds like that was at closing time or, well, just after. The result, 2 dead, 1 injured, and at least 1 individual wanted by police with only a vague suspect description. First, the location here is Federal Way. For those unfamiliar, this is a city in King County, Washington, and part of the Seattle metropolitan area. Population as of 2020 was over 100,000 people, making Federal Way the 10th most populous city in the state of Washington and the 5th most populous in King County. The Federal Way Police Department said officers responded to the Stars Bar and Grill at 31216 Pacific Highway South around 3:30 a.m. The call was for a shooting outside of the bar after closing. Arriving officers found 3 people with gunshot wounds. From their Facebook page, Stars Bar and Grill in Federal Way is a vibrant destination that combines a lively atmosphere with a menu featuring classic American comfort food. The spacious interior is a perfect spot for gatherings, casual outings, or a night out with friends. Guests can enjoy a selection of craft beers and signature cocktails while watching live sports on big screen TV. So this is pretty much your standard fun bar with some food options. A quick look tells me darts and skee ball, yes please and yes please, are popular there. And it's kind of a burger and fries kind of menu. Stars is located, we just went through the stats there, the population. Stars is located in a big city, and it's also located in a very busy part of town. Today, their typical hours are 11 a.m. and open as late as 2 a.m. on the weekends. Now, note, police are responding to this call at 3:30 a.m., and this is Sunday, May 21st, 2023. So this would be an hour or so after closing time.
Yeah.
Now, according to Federal Way Police, 2 of the victims were women, both in their 30s and both employees at the bar. Unfortunately, they were both pronounced dead at the scene. The 2 employees were Jessyca Hohn, Hohn, and Katie Dunke. They both were in their mid-30s. Not only were they co-workers, but they were also roommates. And it sounds like even if they were not at home together or working together, these 2, they were pretty much always together.
Yeah, 2 besties. And what a horrible crime scene. But we have 2 victims dead, but we have another victim that was close to being dead.
Yeah, the report here is that a lot of the time when one of them, they often work together, but some nights one of them would be bartending at Stars and the other would, when not bartending alongside of the other, would come in as a customer on those nights and hang out while their friend was working.
Yeah, come in for those free drinks.
Unfortunately, that was the case on that Saturday night. They were working together, leading into the shooting that took place just outside of the Stars Bar in the small hours of that Sunday morning. Jessica was a loving mother to a young boy, and her life meant everything to her family. Katie was said to be the laughter of every room, and both were loved in their community. At the bar, both were known for always making sure everyone was included and having a good time. And as the captain said, we do have a third victim here. He survived. The third victim is a 25-year-old man who was a patron of the bar. He was shot as well. He was taken to the hospital. The survivor was able to offer some information to help detectives get started with their investigation.
I think when you initially start reading about this, you think, well, maybe there's a robbery, or maybe there's an ex-lover or something's happening outside the bar. And then you think, well, when do they make the deposits? When do they take the deposits? But because we have this victim still at the scene and alive, we're going to get a lot more information.
Yes, early on in the investigation, police were vocal. They said that they were looking for a single suspect. Now, later that same day, again, this is May 21st, 2023, a Sunday, Federal Way Police had not released any more information other than they believe the shooter is a man in his late 20s or early 30s. The lack of information, of course, started to lead to speculation and rumors.
Right.
Federal Way Police only confirming that there was some sort of disagreement outside of the bar after closing, but they did not confirm what that disagreement was about or what led up to it.
Well, as the male victim, is he a known patron of this establishment?
It's reported that he was a patron of the bar, yes. Now, the bar owners, other workers, and customers, they're all saying the same thing, that they were confident in the Federal Way Police Department. All of them were hoping that the bar's security cameras would play a role in finding the suspect and eventually closing this case. I want to speak for a moment to what kind of community this is and how the people of this community pull together and stand together for their community.
Yeah.
You often hear terms like big city problems. Well, of course, a big city bar is going to have its share of big city problems. But generally, this is a community of good and like-minded individuals. And no one holds any blame in this other than that bad guy that the police are looking for.
You know what sucks? There's not much better than watching a football game, Monday Night Football. Yeah, it's great on your couch, but it's also great in your local bar. But the problem with bars is there's normally a bunch of hooligans and something stupid happens. And I wish that didn't take place.
Yeah, I think that depends on what kind of establishment you're going to. And look, of course, something weird or some idiot has walked into every bar in this country. It's happened
Right.
one night at every bar in this country. But there are plenty of places that you can go many times, and you don't even have to be. Sometimes people can be labeled a bar person, bar fly, what have you. A lot of times people will use a bar as a gathering place. Hey, 3 or 4 people, we all meet up here because it's a central location. The drinks are cheap. The staff is great. The food is good. Well, let's watch this game. Oh, we got kids at home. You know, we got other things at home that we would prefer to meet out. And this location, kind of back to community and the community within side of this bar itself, they held more than one vigil for these victims. And let's extend that out too, because it often goes overlooked that these vigils are not just to remember these young women, Jessyca and Katie, who were liked and loved by so many, but it's also for the people that would go to stars, the folks that spent some of their hard-earned paychecks, who deserve a safe place to kick back with friends and have some fun after a hard day at work or after a long work week. Some of the neighboring bars here, Captain, businesses, they even closed for the day of the vigil so that their employees could attend the vigil as well. So that to me says something pretty powerful about the city, something pretty powerful about Stars Bar and the neighboring businesses. Of course, family and friends were grieving for Jessyca and Katie, the 2 bartenders who were shot and killed outside of the Federal Way Bar. where they both worked. The shooting outside of the Stars Bar and Grill, this is from a news source here, they say is deeply affecting customers, fellow bartenders, and family members of the women killed. Those folks were doing their darndest to appeal to anyone who knows the killer and to turn him in. Katie Dunke's father, this is Robert Dunke, speaking to the killer, said, quote, "You stole from us. I don't want vengeance." Dunke said, "I don't want hate. I want love. We are accountable for what we do. And I think we will all stand before God and be accountable for those actions." The ladies, their friends, had a message for those who were in Stars Bar on that fateful Saturday night. One said it best, and this was the bar manager, Danny McReady. She said it best in a public appeal, speaking to customers and regulars. She said, quote, "You know me. You love me. We all loved Katie. We all loved Jessyca. Please, I'm asking you, please do not be afraid to call the police." And so this is interesting here, because the people that frequent this establishment, the people that were there that night, the workers, the customers, their friends, and you have the police all saying the same thing. Like, we think we're going to find these answers, and we think we're going to find them, and we're probably going to find them from inside the bar.
But that's what I'm saying. I've been to so many bars where everybody in the bar is having a good time. Everybody's friendly. And then some dick biscuit comes in and they're all hopped up on whatever, or they drank too much, or whatever.
Or they're just a jerk. Sometimes they're just a jerk. And the problem, it doesn't go unnoticed, right? The problem, it usually, we've all experienced it. The problem is quickly highlighted, and everybody is rubbernecking and turning their heads and watching it play out.
Well, no, and people are giving each other the side eye and giving each other the look like, hey, pay attention to like I said, this dick biscuit, because they're up to something no good. And most of the time it's not a regular. It's somebody that nobody knows. They don't even know. Like, why is he at the bar by himself? Is he meeting anybody here? Does anybody?
Well, you got no friends.
Well, you start
no friends.
But you know what I mean? You start looking at people like, is this guy with you? Oh, and I think, like I said, I've played hundreds of bars. There's been many of times where everybody's looking at each other, and then everybody realizes this individual is here to cause trouble, and they don't know anybody here. So they have no fear of embarrassing themselves. And so I think that's what's difficult here is we have evidence that this individual is not a regular at this establishment. So if security cameras don't pick him up, did he even state his name? Did anybody actually have a conversation with him? Is there any information that we can gather from the patrons of that bar that had any interaction with this guy?
And that's exactly what is going down early in this investigation. Nearly everyone who was interviewed for news stories online and on Seattle news stations, they're all asking for the killer to come forward or those who know him to come forward. And of course, adding that they want him caught. The autopsy findings here, Captain. Autopsy reports from the King County Medical Examiner's Office show Katie Dunke died from a single gunshot wound to the head. Jessyca Hohn died from 3 gunshots wounds entering from the back and 1 additional gunshot wound to the back of her head. From police at a news conference earlier in the investigation, they said, quote, 1 female victim was killed instantly. She was shot in the head. The second victim was shot multiple times, and the suspect stood over her and shot her in the head. So she was already down when the suspect decided to stand over top of her. Now, what we do have here to go on that both of us have been kind of dancing on top of right here is we have this surviving victim. He's a surviving victim, but also a witness. We have security cameras, and thank God they're working. We've covered, unfortunately, so many cases where cameras aren't working or, and we've said this dozens of times. Shame on you, business owners who do not equip your businesses and properties with security cameras. You do it for your own protection. Do it to protect your business. Do it to protect your customers. Do it to protect your patrons, and do it to protect your employees. That if you value them and you truly value them, you value their safety and well-being.
Well, you could kind of understand this maybe back in the day when you had to use a big company, but now a lot of these systems you can just order and set up yourself. We have many sponsors because
shout
of
out Simply Safe and ADT.
Yeah.
We've over the years we've had great sponsors, security, and like the captain says, they're more affordable now than ever. And some of them you can even set up your own system to where you are recording in-house and not paying for professional monitoring if the expense is too great. But here, what we have to go on is, again, surviving victim / witness security cameras. We know that they exist because the owner and patrons and coworkers were saying they hope that these cameras will provide information to police so that they can figure out who is responsible. So we're going to take this, start there, and then work the case from inside the bar, where we will attempt to identify the suspect, identify other potential witnesses, or roll snake eyes and identify both. From the witness, so the third victim, a customer, he told police that the suspect got into a dispute with one of the women and allegedly hit her. The customer says he then intervened and pushed the suspect and then tackled the man to the ground. He said that he held the suspect down until the suspect said that he was done fighting. And this is some real chicken shit stuff right here. The suspect's on the ground. He's already like, okay, this is supposed to be over with at this point. I'm done fighting, right? The protector here, the Good Samaritan here, he's only letting up off of this guy because the guy agrees that, hey, it's over.
Yeah, I gave up.
And so the suspect then stands up. He pulls out a handgun from his pocket. He shoots two women, both of the women. Then the suspect fired off several rounds toward the customer as the customer ran away from the scene. Federal Way police say they believe a customer who was upset waited for the two women to leave work.
And why was he upset?
We're getting this information. We're putting it out as it came to the public. And they said, we believe that a customer who was upset may have waited for the two bartenders to leave work and then shot and killed them in the parking lot after an altercation. They said their statement was another male customer was shot too, but he survived. So a disgruntled customer ambushed the women as they left work at the bar early Sunday morning. And so what we're getting here early in this investigation, this is very early in this investigation. And what the public's picking up is that it appears that police know something about him, something about the suspect, but that killer is still on the loose, and they need to identify this dude. Summer always seems to sneak up on us, but Groons is the one wellness habit that actually keeps up with your schedule. Groons are a convenient, comprehensive formula in one delicious daily pack of gummy bears. This isn't a multivitamin, a greens gummy, or a prebiotic. It's all of those things and then some at a fraction of the price. And bonus, they taste great. They come in a daily pack of gummies because you can't fit the amount of nutrients Groons does into just one gummy. With more than 20 vitamins and minerals, including 6 grams of prebiotic fiber, Groons ingredients are backed by over 35,000 research publications. I've been taking Groons now, consuming these little gummy bears for about a month, and I am enjoying this because I have more energy and I feel healthier. And it's got to be from the Groons, baby. And it's not heavy lifting. This is easy, convenient. There's a handful of delicious gummy bears in each little packet. I usually take mine, eat them in the afternoon as a little snack, take them on the go, or Consume those little gummy bears right before hitting the gym for a little added extra boost of energy. Save up to 52% off with code GARAGE at Grunes.co. That's code GARAGE at GRUNS.co.
New teachers, new schedules, new expectations. Back to school is a lot. IXL makes it easy to spot and close learning gaps in just a few minutes a day. IXL is an award-winning online learning platform that helps kids truly understand what they're learning, whether they're building math confidence, strengthening reading and writing skills, or reviewing science concepts. IXL is used in 96 of the top 100 school districts in the U.S., and studies show kids who use IXL score higher on tests, proven in all 50 states. I come from a family of teachers, and they're having their kids use IXL. I'm seeing my nieces and nephews, if they had gaps from last year, they're closing those. And they're continuing their learning routine, which is helping them build confidence in challenging subjects. And I know my nieces and nephews are going to start the school year off strong. Make an impact on your child's learning. Get IXL now. And True Crime Garage listeners can get an exclusive 20% off IXL membership when they sign up today at IXL.com/garage. That's IXL.com/garage.
Most of us picked a bank at 16 and never looked back. Sound familiar? That's where Chime comes in. They're not like traditional old banks who charge fees and gatekeep perks and rewards. Chime offers the most rewarding, fee-free banking, all with no overdraft fees, no monthly fees, no minimum balance fees. You get 5% cash back on Chime Card in a category of your choice, like gas or groceries, all while building credit through regular, everyday spending with no credit check. And you can also grow your money faster with a savings rate that's 9 times the national average. Join the millions who are already banking fee-free with America's #1 choice for banking. Head to chime.com/garage. That is chime.com/garage. Sign up now. It only takes a few minutes. Chime is a fintech, not a bank. Banking services and Chime Card provided by Chime's bank partners. Qualifying direct deposits required. Terms and limits apply. Go to chime.com/disclosures for details. August is the perfect time to hit reset before the autumn rush begins, and your closet is a great place to start. Quince is the perfect place to refresh a wardrobe with timeless, high-quality essentials, like their ultra-soft organic cotton tees and premium Mongolian cashmere sweaters. They're versatile, timeless, and transition seamlessly from a casual workday to dinner out. Everything at Quince is priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. They work directly with ethical factories and cut out the middlemen, so you're paying for high quality, not brand markup. I love Quince.com, and in fact, I will be shopping Quince.com later today like I have done a dozen times before. Why? Because I love their gear, I love the style, I love the value, and the orders and shipping are hassle-free. Right now, I am wearing an ultra-soft organic cotton tee from Quince and Quince socks. I have dozens of them. My closet is full of gear from Quince. Upgrade your everyday. Go to quince.com/garage for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada and the UK too. That's QUINCE.com/garage for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/garage.
All right, we are back. Tall cans in the air.
Yeah.
Cheers to you, Colonel.
Cheers to you, Captain.
Cheers to all the teachers that are going back to the battlefields. Cheers to all those teachers. And cheers, I guess, cheers to the...
We don't need no education. Cheers to the students. Power to the people.
Power to the students. Yeah.
Rise up.
I could say with confidence, I wouldn't want to be in the teacher's shoes or the student's shoes. This dumbest boy in school is going to continue to be the dumbest boy in school. But here we have this loser. He gets in a conflict with the bartenders. Then the loser waits to confront these women. Then he's physically assaults one of them, another loser move, and then is getting his ass kicked. And then the loser says, "Oh, I give up. I'm done fighting." And then this loser pulls out a gun and decides to take innocent people's lives. Again, you caused the conflict and then you murdered people. I mean, you're an absolute loser.
You know, and I'm not saying this because of our audience. We got the most beautiful, wonderful, brilliant, respectful, greatest
Smell
people
good
on the earth listening to this show right now. So this is not an education for them. But if you could find a hothead, listeners, and pass this along, some of the best advice I ever got when I was a young man was from a guy. He was a little crazy himself, but yet it was still good advice. He said, something ruins your night, something gets in your head, you turn red, you see red, drive home and punch a tree. Drive home and punch a tree. You're not going to love yourself in that moment, but you might thank yourself the next morning or later that week. This is something this is senseless. This could have been completely avoided. If police are right with what they're saying, and we're going to get into the story, there's a lot more to learn here about the suspect, but it sounds like this guy waited outside to seek some kind of vengeance, and he had every opportunity to just leave, right?
Yeah.
But okay, so as we said, police early on still trying to identify this coward of a man, and they do, right? They get information that this guy, the suspect, was in the bar earlier that night. There was an altercation. Now, looking more like an attack outside, which led to the shooting, is all stemming from something that occurred earlier inside the bar. A customer tells police that earlier that night, the guy, right? So they have outside cameras. They're showing this security camera footage to other people that were at the bar that night and saying, did you see this guy at any time this night or somebody that looks like him? If you did you hear anything? Did you see anything? What do you know? What can you tell us about anybody that looks like this guy that we're showing you the footage of? So a customer tells the police that earlier a guy matching the gunman's description was in the bar, and the two women working had an altercation with him that led to that man being kicked out of the bar. So then they find additional security footage that showed a man matching the suspect's description. Using that, they identify receipt transactions from the bar that night that showed the suspect's name. So not only is this guy a coward, he's also really dumb. He used his credit card or debit card for a transaction that night. So they have the name of Samuel Ramirez Jr. So piecing this all together here, what the detectives determined went down that night, Katie and Jessyca were working as bartenders. Samuel Ramirez Jr. was a customer that night. Another customer spots a gun on this dude. And again, these guys are usually pretty dumb. My guess, it's in his pocket, and the handle became visible to this customer at some point. This customer notifies the bartenders. Katie and Jessyca then told Samuel Ramirez Jr., hey, guess what? You can't bring a gun into the bar.
Yeah.
And so he's kicked out. I don't know. I'm guessing his later actions that it may not have been so quiet, them telling him to leave. He may not have gone quietly into the night. Then, being the nice, great guy that he is, he sits outside stewing and waiting to confront two women.
Yeah.
Now, was he planning to just assault them, but he got his ass kicked by the customer who defended the ladies, or was he already planning to shoot them? It's tough to say.
Well, I think you can kind of tell where this guy's mind frame was when you go to a bar by yourself and you bring a gun, a loaded gun, you're not going out for a good time. You're going out for trouble.
Yeah. And again, a coward. There's no reason to be armed when you go into that establishment.
Look, some people would call him a douche canoe. I would take it up a notch. I would call him a douche rocket.
Again, tough to say what his intent was, but we know he was going to engage the two of them but they went outside and Samuel Ramirez Jr. allegedly shot Katie and Jessyca to death. A man, as we said, a customer, was also shot and wounded. Surveillance footage, customer receipts, and witness statements led to arrest warrants being issued for Ramirez Jr.
So they just go down and pick him up and he's arrested and case closed?
Well, like the detectives say, can I get a witness? Well, yes, you can. So to strengthen their case here, Captain, they also find a witness who tells police that she was planning to go on a date with Ramirez Jr. on May 21st. So that
the next day?
That Sunday. But Ramirez texted her.
Wait, were they going to church together? We're going to go to Sunday school together.
Or dinner, lunch. I don't know what they were planning. But the witness comes forward, bless her, and tells police, hey, that guy that you're looking for, and this again will strengthen their case and help them to understand that they're looking for the right guy. Samuel Ramirez Jr. texted her that morning at 4:24 a.m. to cancel. So this would be less than an hour after the shooting, or roughly an hour after the shooting, to cancel the plans, saying he had made a big mistake and that she would read about it in the news.
Sounds like a confession to me.
That's a confession. So on May 24th, 2023, remember this takes place on the 21st. So within 3 days, the King County Superior Court, State of Washington, issued an arrest warrant for Samuel Ramirez Jr. after he was charged with murder in the first degree, murder in the second degree, and attempted murder in the first degree. On the 30th, so 6 days later, the bar reopened for the first time since the killings. The owner, Tina Nelson, said the outpouring of support was beautiful. She said, quote, there were mountains and mountains of flowers outside. She said, it just showed all of the love the community has, and they have really reached out to us to let us know they are here for us. Now, usually this is when, at least from the investigators' standpoint, the tough work is behind them. Not here, because in this case, while you have identified your suspect, but now you have to find him. He fled the state shortly after the murders.
This guy makes no sense, though. Complete loser, showing up to the bar, loaded weapon, gets pissed off that you don't want to let him stay in the bar. Then he physically attacks a woman. Then he kills two innocent people, gets in a fight. He takes off running, whatever. But then he is kind enough to message his date to let her know, I made a mistake and I won't be there. This goes to anybody out there ghosting people, which is a loser move. Even this loser at least told his date, I'm not going to be able to make it. You'll read about it on the news.
Okay, so Brownie points to him for that. Now let's fast forward. Remember, this takes place in May of 2023. We're going to fast forward to November 14th, 2025, when a federal arrest warrant was issued for Ramirez Jr. And he was charged. He gets an additional charge here, Captain. This for unlawful flight to avoid prosecution. And of course, during this announcement, they are reminding the public this guy needs to be considered armed and dangerous. The following month, December 10th, 2025, the FBI announced a reward of up to $25,000 for information leading to Ramirez Jr.'s arrest and conviction. So they're asking the public once again for some help. Now we go to this year, 2026, March 10th. The FBI announced that Samuel Ramirez Jr. would be added to the 10 most wanted fugitives list. And at the time, So shortly before this, being added to the list, the standard reward for someone on the list. Now, we've seen the FBI deviate from this on occasion, especially when it's a case becomes international. You know, I think bin Laden, the reward for his arrest was like $10 million.
Mm-hmm.
But typically the standard reward amount for an individual being sought by the FBI that's on their 10 most wanted fugitives list is $250,000. Well, they've recently upped the ante here. So now the new standard reward amount is $1 million for someone on the 10 most wanted list.
With a pinky in your mouth.
With the addition of Ramirez Jr., so they announced that he's added to the 10 most wanted list. He becomes the first new individual added to the list to be part of that reward amount of up to $1 million, that new standard reward amount.
Hey, if we ever get canceled, if the True Crime Garage flying garage ship gets canceled, I think me and you should start a partnership where we go out and we hunt these guys down. I mean, $1 million would go a long way.
Ramirez Jr. was the 538th person added to the FBI's 10 most wanted fugitives list, according to the FBI Seattle field office. And police state that Ramirez Jr. fled Washington. So he fled the state after the shooting. Okay, so take this a step further here. According to the FBI, following the homicides, Ramirez fled to Lake Havasu City in Arizona. And on May 23rd, 2023, his parents then drove him to Tijuana, Mexico.
They should be arrested too.
Yeah, and what I would be curious here is if they will be eventually charged with something. As it sits now, I don't think that they've been charged, but the part that stands out to me here is those dates. So the FBI is on record saying that his parents drove him to Tijuana, Mexico. Of course, they're helping him flee the country at that. They believe their statement is that took place on May 23rd, and the timeline that we've put together puts the arrest warrant for Ramirez Jr. as being issued on May 24th. So if they are charged, which they should be, in my opinion, I'll give a little help to the defense of the parents, would be that the warrant wasn't issued until after this action took place. The cool thing here, though, is March 10th, 2026. So earlier this year, the same day, Samuel Ramirez Jr., age 33 of Federal Way, Washington, was apprehended without incident at 11:13 a.m. Pacific time in Mexico, only 1 hour and 13 minutes after being added to the FBI's 10 most wanted fugitives list.
Boom shakalaka.
That's right.
I mean, that's insane, right?
That's great.
I mean, it makes you the dumbest boy in school.
Mm-hmm.
You just got on the list. There's some people that have been on the list and then they get bumped out of the top 10 and then they get put back in the top 10 and they get bumped out again. What's that blonde-haired douchebag that we've been looking for a long time?
Derek Brown?
Yeah. And you're on the list for an hour.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, part of the Derek Brown situation, though, too, is remember they're at a disagreement if he's still alive. And so I think the argument, like, while he deserves to be on the list, and proof of that is he's been on the list, and I think you're right. I think he's been on the list, off the list, on the list. I think the disagreement there is that he's holding valuable space, right? He's taking up valuable real estate on a list that leads to the apprehension of individuals that we have every reason to believe that they are alive. And this Samuel Ramirez Jr. arrest is, in fact, evidence of such. So,
well, real quick,
that's the record, right? That's a record. 1 hour, 13 minutes after being added to the list, the dude is apprehended. The previous record for the shortest arrest time was Billy Austin Bryant, arrested in 1969, 2 hours after being added to the list.
But that's the thing that cracks me up about this, about him. Like, you would think it's kind of like LeBron, taking over on the scoring title, where you go, nobody's ever going to break that. This guy, the Bryant guy, is on the list for like 2 hours. Boom, got him. So you go, chances are that record's going to stand for a long time, but not with old Samuel.
Samuel Ramirez Jr., a U.S. citizen, was arrested by Mexican authorities and was returned to the United States just hours later and landed in Seattle, where he was taken into custody by Federal Way Police. Quote, "This capture shows the power of local, federal, and international law enforcement working together, armed with timely and actionable information from the public," said Special Agent in Charge Mike Harrington. So he's the Special Agent in charge of the FBI Seattle field office. And I want to echo what Special Agent Harrington said. Look, there's a million reasons to hate this case. This story should have never been a story. These women should have never been killed. That man should have never been shot at. That loser should have never been in this bar. And the list goes on and on and on and on. The thing here to champion and the thing here to celebrate is seeing people working together for the betterment of our community and for justice for these people and their families and justice for the community. This is at the local level, at the federal level, at the international level. And again, it's with the help from the public.
Yeah.
And
I think that goes back to the local bar community going, hey, this should have never happened. And these are truly innocent victims, and a community caring. This guy then flees. Okay, now federal law enforcement gets involved. Then his parents, I mean, come on. The two more Dick Biscuits in this story, they help him flee the country. And then, like you said, international law enforcement and the community. And super sad story, but I guess it gives you hope that if somebody commits a crime, that it's going to get harder and harder for them to get away with it.
Special Agent Mike Harrington goes on to say, assistance from the public quickly helped us learn where Mr. Ramirez was hiding and successfully bring him back to King County to face justice. And then we have the police chief chiming in as well, saying, quote, "We are deeply grateful for the FBI's partnership and the swift coordination among local, federal, and international law enforcement that led to Samuel Ramirez Jr.'s capture so quickly." This from Federal Way Police Chief Andy Wang. He goes on to say, "This arrest is an important step toward justice for the victims, Jessyca Hohn and Katie Dunke, and toward bringing some measure of closure to their families and our community. We remain committed to ensuring that the suspect is held fully accountable." Now, Ramirez Jr. remains at the King County Correctional Facility on $5 million bail.
Right.
Awaiting a murder trial. I don't believe a date for that trial has been set yet. Keep in mind, he's just been arrested a couple of months ago. During a press briefing announcing Ramirez's placement on the FBI's 10 most wanted fugitives list, FBI Special Agent in Charge Mike Harrington said of the 538 fugitives who have appeared on the 10 most wanted fugitives list, 501 have been apprehended or located, a 93% success rate. Regarding whether Ramirez's parents could face charges for driving him to Tijuana, Mexico, Harrington said, "There is potential for criminal culpability for those who attempt to hide someone fleeing justice." The FBI's 10 most wanted fugitives list is one of the longest running and most recognizable law enforcement initiatives in U.S. history. Since its creation in 1950, the program has relied on national publicity and public participation to assist in the capture of dangerous fugitives. 538 fugitives have appeared on the list, and as said, 501 have been apprehended or located. And again, this is the public, power to the people. Many of these persons who were located or apprehended is due to tips from citizens.
Yeah.
Now, over the years, 10 most wanted fugitives have been FBI Seattle cases. In addition, 8 fugitives on the list were arrested in Washington State, with 7 fugitives arrested in the Seattle area and 1 in Spokane.
I'll be interested to see. I'll be interested to see what happens if there's even a trial, because, like you said, we have surveillance footage, we have eyewitness, we have people in the local community. I think that text message to me is as good as confession. And then obviously, too, what I'd be doing if I'm law enforcement is I go, okay, well, you testify against your son and we won't bring charges. But I don't even know if it'll go to trial. I think there'll probably be some plea deal made.
Longtime listeners of this show know that True Crime Garage covered the history and several specific cases from the FBI's 10 most wanted fugitives list in a 2-part special that was episodes 130 and 131 on your Garage Radio dial, released back in August of 2017.
Wow.
Captain, we explored how the FBI's famous public awareness program operates and reviewed notable high-profile fugitives featured on the list since its inception in 1950. We also discussed how the list shifted, right? How it's changed over the years from targeting traditional bank robbers and local jurisdiction escapees to incorporating organized crime bosses, international terrorists, and violent gang leaders. The success stories with this just continue. I mean, you can't make this up. This happened while we were looking into the case. So the FBI was announced that they were offering a $1 million reward for information leading to the arrest of Gregory Henderson Jr.
Another junior.
Yeah, so they announced this August 11, 2026. So this is out of Indianapolis. FBI Indianapolis Special Agent in Charge Timothy O'Malley and U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of Indiana, his name is Tom Wheeler, announced the addition of Gregory Henderson Jr. to the 10 most wanted fugitives list. Henderson Jr. is the 542nd addition to the list. That comes with, as said, a $1 million reward for information leading to the arrest of Henderson Jr. Well, Gregory Henderson Jr. was arrested 1 day later in Mississippi.
Got him.
1 day later. And the FBI stated, quote, "The FBI does not close the book on dangerous fugitives, whether it has been 3 months or 3 years. Our commitment remains the same. We will relentlessly pursue fugitives until they face justice." And they said that specifically, we will relentlessly pursue Gregory Henderson Jr. until he faces justice. So they were asking the public for help. They got it. He's arrested a day later in Mississippi. This dude was up on international drug trafficking charges, being involved in an international drug trade. And also, this is despicable. He was charged with being involved in a dog fighting ring. So here's the thing, too. When you get an arrest of somebody like Gregory Henderson Jr., I just told you what he's suspected of, what they allege he's been involved in. Hopefully his arrest, not just identifying him, but apprehending him. If there was ever a time, Gregory Henderson Jr., to grow a brain, it is now. Start talking. Start tell them who these other people are that are doing these terrible things. You have an opportunity to save yourself a little bit here.
Well, the problem is those bad people normally know even worse people behind bars.
That's true. That's true. I'm sure the bad people that Gregory Henderson Jr. knows is a long, long list. Now, I do want to give a shout out before we wrap up here, Captain, from an emailer, longtime listener of the show, who was friends with both of these ladies that we talked about today. This is from Bridget, who says, Katie and Jessyca were not just victims. They were a huge part of the Federal Way community. They were very well known, deeply loved, and always involved in bringing people together both inside and outside of the Stars bar. For so many people, that place wasn't just a job for them. It was a space where they created connection, laughter, and a sense of belonging. They impacted countless lives, and their absence is still deeply felt throughout the entire community.
I want to thank everybody for joining us here in the garage. Thanks for telling your mother. Thanks for telling your brother. If you're feeling fommy, then go to the merch store page and pick you up some Feeling Fommy merch. If you know, you know. Colonel, do we have any recommended reading for the beautiful listeners?
We do, and this is not specific to the most wanted list that we've spent a good deal talking about here today. As said earlier, you could go back and listen to our previous episodes on the 10 most wanted list. That is episode 130 and 131, True Crime Garage. But a reminder here, as we have in the past suggested a couple times before, is FBI.gov. Go to that website. You know, many of our listeners and many people that check out the show on YouTube are often sort of just trolling for anything true crime, looking for something that will catch their eye, pique their interest. There is a lot there on FBI.gov. And over the years, we have used that as a resource for some of the cases that we've covered, for coverage on these different true crime stories. So a lot to be learned there. Take advantage of it. It's free. There's a lot of different tabs there. There are times that I find myself and go, I blink and go, oh, I've been on this site for like an hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes, kind of lost myself in the moment. So check out FBI.gov and also go to truecrimegarage.com and check out our recommended page. We have a lot of different podcasts, documentaries, books, all kinds of recommendations just sitting and waiting there for you.
And until next week,
be good, be kind, and don't